Hello first graders, welcome to a new math lesson. We are on topic 12, lesson 6. So please get your paper ready and let's start. As you know, this topic we're talking about length. For this lesson, you will be learning how to choose which measuring tools to use when you measure an object. For this activity, we might be having different items with different measurements. So I'm giving you examples, but again, you will be using maybe different tools or different object to measure, and your answer will be different than mine. So we need to have two items, or we have columns. Some items and objects that we're gonna use our counter or cubes, and it should be about 1 cube length. And then other items we're gonna use the straw. As I told you, our items will be different. For example, I'm using this straw, but if you have the bigger size, you'll be using the bigger size, you'll be using different objects. And for our cubes, I'm having the small pig pen, and then I have paper clip, and then I have a button, but you can use again anything that is about 1 cube length. So these are my items that I use. All right, for you, for the straw, as I said, my straw, maybe yours is bigger than mine, so I have this small straw. I have a book that's about this straw, and then I have plastic spoon, again about, and then I have my highlighter that it's about length of a small straw. So don't worry, you can use pencils, you can use bigger straw, or even this straw, whatever you have available you can use it. But the most important, you're gonna tell me what measurement of the straw you use. What did you use to measure? Do you use a book like mine, small book, or highlighter or pencil or marker, a plastic spoon, erasers, whatever you have. If you don't have this small clip, you can use stickers, you can use anything, but please be careful if you have little siblings. If we're using these small items, make sure that you don't keep it handy for your little siblings. All right, so over here I'm not gonna write much, I'm just showing you what to use and how to measure it, and that's it. So that's what you need. You can even write the name of the object you decided to measure, or you can draw it, whatever easy for you. I'm just giving you an ideas and examples. All right, the most important part is what we're gonna see inside here. All right, for example, you can measure the length of an object in units such as cubes or straws. So of course, if I have a markers or crayons, I can use cubes. All right, the button is about 1 cube long. Again, if you have this button, maybe if you have bigger one or smaller one, so the size will vary and your measurement will be different. A paintbrush is about 1 straw long. So you can use a paintbrush, a marker, pencil, a book, bigger book, notebook, sheet of paper, a ruler. But when we use a shorter unit such as cubes to measure shorter objects, we use longer units such as straws to measure longer objects. This is the most important part. If I'm having something small like my paper clip or a button or a quarter, so I'm gonna be using cube because I know my items is small. So I'm gonna use a measuring unit, that's small measuring units. But if I'm having my spoon or a pencil or book, or as we have an example here, a bike, bookshelf, table or desk, chair, and you will be using the straw, not the small cube. So this is what we need to know, that if you have small items, you may use a cube, but if you have bigger items, we'll be using the straw to measure it. All right, let's see the examples we have. We'll go through it quickly. All right, estimate the length, then measure using cubes. So remember, estimating means thinking or guessing or predicting the length, and then after that you use the measuring tools to measure the object that you have. Over here they want us to use cubes, so we need to use cubes to measure that. Before measuring, let's say estimating, the first one is done for you. The estimate is 4 cubes, so this line is 4 cubes long, and then when we measure it, it's 5 cubes. So let's see if I have 5 cubes. So it's about 5 cubes. So this is the measure. Let's go for the second one. Again, remember, you need to estimate. So you're guessing, you're predicting, you're thinking that this length for number 2 here, it could be, and you say whatever you think. So you say, I think it's going to be 2 cubes. All right. So now I'm going to write down that I estimated it's 2 cubes. Now let me see if I put 2 cubes. Not really. And put one more. So the length for the line for number 2 actually 3 cubes, but I thought it's 2 cubes. So I estimated 2, and when I measure it, it's 3 cubes. We used the estimating and the measuring before. So this is actually not new. It's just the only thing we need to know: if you're measuring small object, use a cube, and if you're measuring longer objects, straw would be the right tool to measuring units to use. Okay, for number 3, let's say I estimate this 2 cubes. So I'm gonna say I estimated 2 cubes, and let me see if I measure it. Oh, it's about 2 cubes, so I was right. All right, okay. Let's see, do you understand? Would you measure the length of a crayons in cubes or straw? And explain. So this is the crayons we have. If I have my crayons here, and this is the straw I have. So what do you think would be better, using straw or using cubes? I think using cubes, because as we see, my marker smaller or shorter than the length of the straw that I'm using it. So this won't be giving, I can measure this here, but if I have cubes, I can use cubes and I can say it's about 4 cubes. All right, so let's put this down on our paper here. So what we said cubes. And why we say cubes, we decided it's cube because we noticed that the crayon is shorter than, oops, it's not shown, fix this, then the okay. All right, let's go here. All right, as you see for page 407, we have furnitures or things that could be in your room or classrooms. So using it or measure it, it won't help, because maybe what I have in my classroom is different than what you have in your room. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna find each object in your classroom. Since we're not in the classes, we're doing that online, so you're gonna be on your room. You check on your room what you have, estimate how long or tall it is, then measure using a straw. So you can choose your desk or your shelf. Please be safe. Please try not to, cause troubles. And if it's hard for you, this activity to do, you don't have to do. Because as we say, the most important, knowing that if it's longer or big objects, we're gonna use straw. But if it's something small, we're gonna use the cubes. So you can measure your desk, your table where you're sitting, if you can, of course, and you can use a chair. If you have a folder, you can measure the folder. Then before when we measure, you're gonna use the straw. So first you're gonna estimate what you think this desk or table or your laptop. Estimate it, how many straw, or it's bigger than a straw or smaller than a straw. Then after that you say how many straw did you use to measure this activity. Again, you don't have to do this activity. It's just the idea that knowing that if you're measuring small objects, you use cubes, and if you're using longer or bigger objects, we're gonna use the straws. Okay, number 7, spatial thinking. Estimate the length of the lizard. About and about. So we have here the bird and the lizard. So they estimated the bird about 2 cubes. Now for the lizard, can you just estimate? Estimate, like you don't need to cube it, you think. So for me, I see that the lizard is longer than the bird. So if they estimated the bird's 2 cubes, I can go for 3 cubes. I might think the lizard is 3 cubes tall. So I'm gonna just say 3. Again, you don't need to measure. All what you do, you're just estimating. So guessing or thinking. So of course I can see, I cannot say 2. I won't say 1 because I can see that the lizard picture is taller or longer than the bird picture. So if they estimated 2 cubes for the bird, I'm gonna go for 3, or even if you wanna put 4, it's up to you. Okay, let's turn the page. All right, about how tall might each object be? Circle the better estimate. Again, you're estimating, you're not measuring. So this vase, you think it's gonna be about 7 straws or about 7 cubes. If you have, like, let's say a vase in a house, you think it's gonna be 7 cubes. So these are 5, 6, 7. Could be 7 cubes, like probably a water bottle, small water bottle, or 7 straws. So 7 times the straw you're using, if you're using the big one. So 7 straws would be really, so I think it's gonna be 7 cubes. I'm gonna circle this answer. Now, number 9. You have a tree now. What do you think the tree will be if you estimate? You think the tree, quite big tree, I'm gonna use straws or I'm gonna use cubes? These are my 7 cubes. So you think a real tree outside, it's gonna be that. This is the length of the, or the height of a tree, or 11 straw. This is 11 cubes. So I think a real tree outside, it's gonna be the height of 11 cubes or 11 straws. Very good, 11 straws. Remember, this is the whole idea we talked about in the previous page, that small items can be measured by small unit like cubes, and of course big items we need bigger units. All right, number 10. Which is the best estimate for the length of a car, a real car? Is it about 4 cubes? This is 4 cubes. Is it about 20 cubes? So this is 2 cubes. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, and then again a real car again. 20 cubes. About 2 straws. So I have 2 straws, the measure of 2 straws, like 2 of these, or about 20 straws. 20 straw. Of course, if you're using even the bigger straw, will make more sense. So definitely, car, a real car is a big object, so I'll have to use bigger units to measure it. It's going to be the straws. All right. Number 11, journal. Measure one object using cubes. Measure another object using straws. Draw each object, write the length. So simple, so fun. So choose something to measure using a cube. So you can use a paper clip or a button or sticker all right? And we use a cube. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna draw the object. What did you choose to draw? So let's say the button. So you're gonna draw the button. Could be a square button, circle, whatever. And then you're gonna write how many cubes. All right. And then you're gonna go for the straw and use a straw and measure something that it's a length of a straw. So it could be a small book like that, could be flashcards, could be crayons, or you know, marker, something big that you can use. Could be a ruler. And then you're gonna draw it and you're gonna say about how many straws. All right. So again, this was an extra activity lesson to use different units to measure different objects. And for today, we use cubes and we used straws. All right, that's it for today, first graders. Thank you. Bye-bye.